everyone, and welcome to your next lesson in training methods. So over the last few weeks we've been looking at a number of different training methods, all designed to improve your fitness and to help you with the way in which you train. So we've looked at continuous, we've looked at weight, and we've looked at activities that they most are suited to. All right, you'll notice today that we're out of the arts theatre. We've branched out because the type of training method that we're looking at today requires us probably to be outside. We could adapt to be in the garden, but generally speaking we might need to be at a park, or using the roads at home or something like that. All right, make sure if you do that you go out when it's light and that it's safe. Okay, that's the main things there. So what is today's training method? It's Fartlek training. F-A-R-T-L-E-K, Fartlek training. And Fartlek training comes from Sweden. Okay, the word Fartlek is Swedish for speed play. And because obviously it's speed play, we're going to change the speed at which we train at. All right, we're not just going to be sprinting. We're not going to work at a constant pace like we would in continuous training. We're constantly changing the speed at which we train to keep the body guessing and prepare us effectively, mainly for games-based activities. Okay, so if you were to think about a footballer, a netballer, or a hockey player, they don't sprint for the duration of the game. All right, they change the speed at which they're playing, at which they're training, to suit the demands of the game. So if somebody kicked a long ball in football and you were playing centre forward, you'd have to sprint after it to try and score at the end, to latch onto that ball. Right? If somebody in hockey played a long ball from the back of the pitch to the front, to the front of the pitch, again you're going to have to sprint after it to try and keep it in and make something of it. Well, you're not going to sprint like that for the whole game. You're going to change. Okay, you're going to sometimes maybe jog to get back into position. But not only does Fartlek training change the speed at which we train at, it also changes the terrain. Okay, now terrain is a posh word for surface. So sometimes footballers, and use that again as an example, might train on an astro pitch, but they play on a grass pitch. They've changed the terrain on which they're training. Okay, a cross-country runner, now you might think, oh hang on miss, cross-country runners, they're just running on grass. Well, that's true for most of the time, but there might be points in that race where they cross a road. So they've gone from grass to concrete, back to grass. Sometimes the grass might be muddy, so they're changing the terrain on which they perform or train. Okay, so Fartlek training, speed play, but also changing the speed and terrain on which we perform at. So Mr. Buckley is kindly going to demonstrate some Fartlek training.
Right guys, just done my warm up. Now we're going to do a time-bound Fartlek session. This means at different points I'm going to be switching between walking, jogging and sprinting. So for instance, I might be jogging for 20 seconds, walking for 10 seconds, sprinting for 20 seconds and then jogging again for another 10 seconds. Okay, there's other ways you can do it. You can use markers such as these lines. So go to one marker, you're jogging, next marker is sprinting, next marker walking. Or if you're out and about on the streets, you can use lampposts. Also the two terrains we've got today are the Astro and we've got the tarmac over there. Okay, I'm going to start now with 20 seconds jogging.
Change. And change into a walk.
Now I'm resting, I'm getting oxygen back into my lungs, lowering my heart rate and getting ready for the next interval.
Change. 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 Okay, so you'll get the idea there from what Mr. Buckley's just done, that this is all about a change of speed and a change of terrain. So this is what we'd like you to do at home. You're going to work for 1 minute periods, okay? You're going to do a 10-second sprint, followed by a 20-second jog, followed by a 30-second walk. So for those 3 changes of speed and changes of terrain, it's just a 1-minute block. And then you're going to try and repeat that at least 10 times. Okay, so in total, you're only going to work for 10 minutes. Ideally, we want you to be repeating it 15 to 20 times. Now that's just an idea, what we've given you in terms of working for 1-minute intervals. It could be that you change it slightly, but the key thing to remember is that you need to be changing speed and you need to be changing terrain, and we'd suggest that the sprint is the least amount of work, the jog is moderate, and the walk is where you get your recovery. To make it harder, reduce the amount of time you're walking for. All right, folks, make sure you do your assignments, make sure you do your fartlek session at home or at the park if you can, and we look forward to seeing your answers in your assignment. Have a good evening. Well done.